everybody, it's your girl D Rose, and it is the Chronicles, baby. And I decided, well, today will be a wonderful day to get back on track with my series, 6 parts, y'all, on Don't Be a Sucker in Your Marriage. There's no way that I'm advocating leave your husband, leave your wife. I am not telling you that marriage is no good. I love the institution of marriage. But sometimes I know a lot of people get into marriages because, for whatever reason, money, security, children, whatever your thing is, it may or may not be healthy. It may or may not be right. But I know for me, I had to take the ring off, baby. So thank you for joining in and let me be your host on today. Remember to like, share, and comment. And if you have not done so, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Chronicles, baby. Devondia Hamilton is her name, and she's looking very forward to changing it back to Roseboro. Believe that. So on today, I'm using my personal contacts. I'm not using anything from online. I'm not using anything from any scholarly journal. I'm not using anything from any magazine, Essence, Jet, Better Homes and Garden. None of that. I'm coming from my heart. I'm coming from my experience. And everybody's experience is different. And I decided why not keep it 100 when it came down to what went on with me, due to the fact that's how I heal. I don't know what it's doing for you as you watch these videos or as you listen or participate. Oh God, I'm getting tongue-tied. Participate in any dialogue that I have on social media. I think it's important that you understand that you have to do what's best for you. And I know that when my enough was enough, it was enough. So I'm here to share unapologetically, with boldness and with no shame, on why I no longer wanted to be a sucker in my marriage. So today, which I've already uploaded, my marriage didn't work out, and I'm okay with that. That was one of my my second video, and Don't Be a Sucker to Your Marriage is also up. It was an introduction to what I'm doing now. Today, I'm going to dialogue a little bit on how do you know when you don't love your spouse anymore? How do you know when you don't love your spouse anymore? For me, I just feel like I need to be interviewed, but I'll do that. I feel when I no longer felt like I needed him, when I no longer felt like I had feelings, those feelings started to here I go again, getting tongue-tied, to go away. I wanted to say dissipate, but I think I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, my feelings went away. I no longer wanted to be married. I no longer wanted to be held by him. I no longer wanted to be caressed by him. I no longer wanted to be made love to by him. I no longer wanted to wear my ring. I no longer wanted to be a part of somebody else's issues, last name, or make it work, or to pretend it's working, or to fantasize that if it worked, because I done all I could to try to save it, put out the stuff that needed to be said, provided the resources that would have gotten us to another level. But when you're no longer getting met, on the same page with that person that you thought loved you enough to want to work it out, but once you decided that you no longer wanted to, and bye-bye, go ahead, get on up out of here, you want to start making excuses and, want to do things that you should have been doing all along. It's like a job. If I can be candid here, it's like a job. You can be on a job for so long, and when your need is not being met at that job, if you feel like you have exhausted everything at that place, where you feel like I must move on because I'm no longer getting what I need here. I need to take my gifts and talents somewhere else. Yeah. The same thing like if you're part of a church and it's messy boots, or if you have situations where it's not really all that loving and caring, you decide you want to take your membership somewhere else. That's okay. Do what's best for you. And don't feel like it's okay for anybody to make you feel that you're wrong or not entitled to make that decision. So when I knew that I no longer wanted to be married, I tried anyway to make it work. I wanted to make it work at some point, but still there was a part of me that no longer wanted to be married. I no longer wanted to have the responsibility as a wife because I felt like I failed as a wife. I felt like what I had done as a wife was more than I could do. There was no handbook besides what the Bible says, and taking advice from the women that gave me, profound, departation towards the things that I needed to do and not do, and how to keep people in line and how to be okay. Yeah, the lips was chapped. Let's get it together. I had to do what was best for me. Is that okay? And sometimes this has to be all right, regardless of who it is. It has to be all right with you, not with no one else. It has to be all right with you. I know who I am now. I always felt like I knew Devondia. I always felt like I loved her. At some point in my life, I began to love her. But then I felt like my confidence, I felt like my self-esteem, I felt like my worth was diminishing within a situation that was no longer serving me well. So if it's not serving me well, then I know I'm not going to serve him well, right? So if you can't do the right thing by the person that, let me put it to you this way. Can it be hard? It's hard for me to still be a wife to somebody that doesn't treat you right. It's hard to be a wife, and I'm pretty sure it's hard to be a wife. Shout out to the sisters that hold a brother down and use drugs. Shout out to the sister that holds the brothers down, that gambles the checks and spends all the money on unnecessary mess and not come home with the money like they're supposed to. Shout out to the sisters that stood by and sticking by their man. I can't do it. No way, Jose. That's not what I signed up for. I did, and I know what the vow said, but that wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Is marriage for me? Probably with someone else, but it's not with him. And I'm okay with that. A lot of times women stay in relationships with men because they have one or two things going on. They ain't got no money, and they want their kids to grow up with their daddy in the house. Girl, do your thing. My kids are grown. They got their own daddy. And I raised them without them being in the home. Okay? And on top of that, I make my own money. So I did not need him to do anything because, one, I was keeping house before him. Get that, ladies. Just because a man come in and buy you a couple of trinkets and all this, that, and the third, I was already established in the house that I pay mortgage and making the last payment this year on before he stepped foot in here. So with that being said, when you know that you got it going on and you don't need nobody to do that thing to make you feel as if I need you, I'm going to stick in this because, hey, even though you hit me upside the head, that wasn't my case, but even though you hit me upside the head, I'm going to still let you stay here. Because I need security. I need these bills paid. Even though you smoke crack, I'm going to let you stay here. Because sometimes, some weeks you might fall through, and then some weeks you might not show up at all. But I need that. Girl, go ahead on with that. Go ahead on with your Lottie Dottie song, baby, because I do not buy records. I stream. I stream. And just like the water in the river, honey, as it goes down the stream, so do I. Because I no longer felt the need to be held hostage by my emotions, going up and down, wondering whether I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing right, should I, will I? And it was the best decision that I made. So when did I find out? When I no longer, well, the question is, how do you know? How do you know and when you don't love your spouse anymore? How do you move on? How do you move on? How did I move on? It was at my last wit's end, when my enough was enough. That's how I moved on. My last words were, if you don't trust me, why are you here? If you don't trust me, leave. And when he said he was going, thank you, Jesus. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted. And many times I have asked to go for them to go and they would not leave. And now they decided, yes, at this point, okay, do your thing. I deserve better. And ladies, you deserve better. You deserve the opportunity to be loved correctly. You deserve the opportunity to be loved without conditions. You deserve the opportunity to not have to worry about when he's going to hit you again, when he's not going to come home, when he's not going to provide, when he's not going to sit down and pray and eat at the dinner table, when he's not going to say, Lord, I'm ready to go home, this movie boy, and not want to do the things that supposed to be done to keep the relationship afloat. Nobody had time for that. It takes two. That's the song, right? It takes two to make a thing go right. Hey. It takes two to make it outside. Yeah. Can't do it by myself. And he probably say the same thing. He probably say he worked hard. He done a lot of stuff around the house, but that didn't mean that you supposed to. You don't get no brownie points because you did stuff around the house. Come on. My uncle doing stuff around the house that he didn't finish. My uncle doing stuff around the house that I needed started that he didn't even pursue. So yes, I was keeping house, darling. And the inside and the outside looks much better since the spirits are gone. So you have to realize where you are, who you are, and where you want to be. And everybody that you tag along with you, baby, don't mean they're supposed to go along with you. So be mindful of the company that you keep. Because sometimes people don't want to help you. They need help. They need help. So as I end this broadcast, I say to you, 3 things I want you to learn to do. But this time I want you to redo them because I know you probably know the old way. So this way, lie still and drink. But this time, lie in the bed of success, steal away from bad company, and forever drink from the fountain of youth.